Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host this evening, Logan Landers. And today we're going to be talking about a very special NFL draft prospect, Trey Smith out of the University of Tennessee. Go Vols. And joining me today, as always on Wednesdays, is the 100 Yards of Football draft expert, the draft insider, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing, Vincent?
How you doing today, Mr. Logan Landers?
Hey, can't complain, Vince. Hey, I know you're ready to drop some knowledge on the Vols fans right now. It's been a tough week for him. Why don't you cheer him up and tell him about Trey Smith and what you like about the young man?
Well, I really appreciate your kind words today.
Sir.
Yes, I don't want to go and talk about what's happening on Rocky Top right now, but right now it's a very tough situation. It seems like the University of Tennessee football program's in the news more than the president on our inauguration today. But what I'm going to say today is that we're going to highlight a young man that's been very special to the program in his years at Tennessee, Trey Smith. He's from Jackson, Tennessee, which is 70 miles from my hometown, Memphis, Tennessee. The young man was a five-star prospect, highly recruited when he came out of school, but he said Tennessee was the only school he ever wanted to go to. He comes out of the same area that produced two other great football players, one, Al Wilson. You should know about him, elected into the College Hall of Fame, was the national championship member as a linebacker on that 98 squad. And then the great Ed Too Tall Jones that played defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys by way of Tennessee State. But let me get with Mr. Trey Smith and get to you why the NFL scouts love him so much. Well, let me say one thing about him. He's very versatile. He's played tackle and guard in his time up there on the hill at the University of Tennessee. He's a guy that's exceptionally dominated run block in the run game. He's a guy that can get to the second level very quickly like they like on that level. Very sound technique football player. Exceptional power, strength, and length. Very good athlete. But the thing that you like about Mr. Trey Smith is his hands. To me, he's got some of the best hands coming into the National Football League playing the guard spot, similar to Larry Allen. Remember him? All-pro tackle, Hall of Fame with the Dallas Cowboys. And then the guy, when you look at Trey Smith, in his time up there at Tennessee, is that he went to a school that prides in offensive linemen. Just look over the history of the Tennessee program. Mickey Marvin, that played with the Raiders. Bruce Wilkerson, who also was a Raider, got a Super Bowl ring with the Green Bay Packers. Harry Galbert, one of the best linemen that ever played at Tennessee. My man, Antoine Davis, tremendous offensive tackle, along with Charles McCray, both first-round picks in the 1990 draft. So he went to a school that's got history, that's got linkage, that's got everything to produce a great player. But like I say, Trey Smith is going to be a guy that's going to be real well, and he's going to check off all the boxes. But what I like about the young man, it was good that you brought up at the beginning, times are not right now kind to the University of Tennessee football program. But when you look at Trey Smith, he's one of the best individuals, not only from a player standpoint, from a character standpoint, that's ever stepped on campus in Tennessee. Number one, in 2015, when he was going through high school as a junior, he lost his mother to congestive heart failure. Can you imagine how tough that is? To lose your mother at 16 years old and then continue your career and be highly recruited. Then he gets on the campus of the University of Tennessee, started 13 games as a true freshman. Next season, came down with blood clots in his lungs. Sit out a year and a half, and it was almost to a point that we didn't even think he was going to continue his career at the University of Tennessee. But what I like about him, he worked, he took a year off, got his blood clot situation situated, and then he finished his career on a high note, played at a very high level his senior year. But most of all, he graduated this past December and promised his mother that he would get his degree. And most of all, he could have went into the draft in 2019 and been a first-round pick. But you know what separates Trey Smith today that I'm so proud of? Not only being a Tennessee football fan since I've been since 1968, but to the state of Tennessee. Remember, this is a school that he loves, that he picked, that he wanted to go to, because he was being highly recruited by a lot of schools. Alabama wants him, LSU wants him, USC wants him. But through all the trouble he went through, Logan, through the blood clots, losing his mother as a junior in high school, before he left the University of Tennessee, he did something that's going to always stick out in my mind. This past November, he organized a coat drive for 1,000 homeless people and raised over 1,000 coats in 5 days with the rescue ministry in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's an angel from God. So what has happened at the University of Tennessee, I don't really care at this moment. We're going to get the program together. But talking about Trey Smith today, it's made my day. So kudos to the young man from Jackson, Tennessee, 70 miles west of my hometown, Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm going to leave you with this before we go in and you talk about what teams are interested in Trey Smith. But it's a saying. It goes by a guy that I really admired and looked up to that lived in my same neighborhood. He was one of the most greatest musicians and founders at Stack Records by the name of Isaac Hayes. And he had a song called Shaft. And in the song Shaft, he was talking about Shaft is a bad mama jammer. You know what I'm talking about. But when you look at Trey Smith, when he goes to the National Football League, I guarantee any team that drafts Trey Smith, they're going to get a bad mama jammer. Not only as a tremendous football player, but a tremendous character guy that's going to really represent your organization in a first-class manner.
Yeah, no doubt, highly touted prospect on the field, but he's even better human being off the field as well, like you mentioned in all those accolades he accomplished. Vince with the coat drive, with the blood clot situations he had, his mother passing away. All kudos go to him for sticking things out, remaining tough, and he's going to be a very highly touted prospect going into this draft. So every Wednesday, VT, we go through this. I usually assemble 3 teams who I think this young man might go to, and I'm going to let you know who they are and tell me which one you think best fits. So for Trey Smith, the 3 teams that I have are the Arizona Cardinals, the Kansas City Chiefs, and finally the Cincinnati Bengals. What are your thoughts on those picks, and where do you see him ending up?
I'm going to start with Arizona. We all know they got the quarterback in place, Kyler Murray. The wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, had a fantastic year. But my thinking, looking at this squad overall, I'm not really sold on their running back position. Keon Drake is on a 1-year deal. We don't know if they're going to re-sign him. Trace Edmonds, I would say he's a middle of a class running back in the National Football League. He's not in the Derrick Henry mode yet. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get you to the playoffs. So when you look at the Cardinals' offensive line, they got Justin Pugh at right guard, left guard, and they got Justin Murray at right guard. I can tell you right now, and you're a smart guy, being as young as you are with the beautiful baby face you have, Trey Smith is better than both of them gentlemen right now.
Right.
So you might say Arizona later in the draft because they need a cornerback to replace Patrick Peterson, but I don't see Trey Smith falling to them, let's say rounds 2 or 3. Then I'm going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs. We all know how special the Kansas City Chiefs offense has been, but Mitch Schwartz has been really injured this year. He's missed several games. Then you got to think about Eric Fisher, they left tackle. He's going to be on a 1-year deal next year in 2021. One more place Trey Smith can land. That's if Kansas City run a roll the dice and take offensive tackle in the first round. But when you look at it, my place that I think he will end up is the Cincinnati Bengals. You got a franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. He still got some toys at running back in Gio Vernati. You got to look at T. Higgins, who's going to replace A.J. Green's receiver position. And what happened so much in Cincinnati this year? Joe Burrow got hit a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say it one more time, Logan? He got hit a lot before he tore his ACL. Quentin Spann, love him, like him. Hey, man, he hasn't shown improvement since he's been over there. Then you got Bobby Hart, who's been a journeyman. He's starting to right tackle spot. Right now, Trey Smith is better than both of them. So I can see Trey Smith ending up with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's where I like to see him go. He's going to a young football team, and he's got a young quarterback. If he comes back from his injury, and Joe Burrow can do a lot of things for the city of Cincinnati. That's where I like to see Trey Smith end up at, with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey, you brought up a great point, Vince. You know, Joe Burrow went out because his offensive line couldn't protect him with that ACL injury. So I'm in agreement with you. I do think the best fit would be with the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll have to see if that's going to be where he ends up. But what are your final words on Trey Smith, the young offensive lineman out of Tennessee?
Well, like I say, he hits all the boxes, exceptional power, very versatile. He's played tackle and guard in college. What you like about linemen, exceptional hands with power, very dominant in the run game, can get to the second level, very athletic. But most of all, what I like about Trey Smith, he makes me be proud to be from the great state of Tennessee that only has 6 million people. And what he's done for the school and through the state of Tennessee, sticking out, getting his degree in December, the promise he made to his mother, then most of all, working with the rescue ministry there in Knoxville. What more can you be proud of if you're a GM that you love this young man? And very mature, let me say this. So that being said, Trey Smith, man, you're going to be a bad mamma jamma any team you get to in the National Football League. I'm proud to be a Tennessean. And Trey Smith will be a good football player at the next level.
Hey, I can't wait to see how he's going to do it at the next level in the NFL and how well he's going to represent Tennessee on his back through and through. Well, hey, if you guys enjoyed this video today, we are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also, be sure to check us out on Instagram as well, where we upload clips about every single show. And also be sure to check out our podcast on Apple or Spotify. You can check us out right here. Just type in 100 yards of football, and you'll see our logo right there on the 50-yard line. That's how we look like on Spotify, and on Apple, this is how we look like over there as well. So be sure to check us out over there while you're in your car, doing some homework, whatever you guys are doing, just be sure to check us out. But hey, for my man, Vincent Turner, thanks for coming on the show once again, man, dropping those amazing knowledge about the NFL draft prospects. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and we'll be talking to you guys very shortly. See ya.